Hello everybody. Well, it's Dephemerember and the first week is finished. Well, first of all, if you don't know about Dephemerember, it's hosted by Louise Heinzel and Barbara, 29 Dragonflies. And their idea this year is that we do little components each day. So you don't need to really finish something completely, but you're making bits that you can use later on in a journal. In theory, we're not putting it into any journal, but I do have a journal that I'll add to at the end of the month. So let me show you what I made. So the first day, the theme was page tab and moth-eaten lace. So let's see if I move this out the way. Okay. And then, yeah, I should have some space here. So I made, I think, 8 of these. Let's have a look. And the idea here is they're floating tabs. It's a page tab, and so I used some old blue lace that I had been gifted by someone years ago, and some lace that I got from my swap partner, Beate. Thank you very much. And then I just added these little sticker stamps. Well, first, okay, let me start again. So the background for these cards was jelly printed. And I had all these cards left over from my fairy journal. So I decided to use them up, because that's kind of the idea, is to use up your stash. So how this works would be like this. This is my journal, my art journal, but I'm going to use it for to add things at the end of the, Dephemerember. So you would take a tag and just put it on a page like that. You see? So it's holding things, but you can move it around, which is fabulous. I think originally I got this idea from Sasibo. I'm sorry, I can't remember her first name, but I'll link it below. So how I made these was I just halved one of these little cards, and these little cards, they're already cut, not like super thick, but it's a nice size. I jelly printed, cut one in half. First stitched that on with a little bit of stuff behind here, and then just stitched it around onto another piece that already had lace. Later on, what I'll do is cover the back either with another card or with some copy dyed paper. So it's a tab, but at the same time you can use it as a journaling card. So as I say, the idea is that you can always put it on a page that a normal size page, in which case it could kind of stick out like that. I've gone with this color scheme really, as I said, because I had a lot of this blue lace, but I tend to migrate towards bright colors. I really like using bold colors, and I like the aesthetic of vintage, but it isn't really what I enjoy making. Okay, anyway, so that was the first day. Moth-eaten lace. You can see all the bits presumably eaten by a moth. And that was great fun to make. And boom, I have 8 of those. Right. So day 2 was, let me see if it's in focus, floating pockets and bold numbers. So let me show you what I made for that. Oh, hold on, there's another one that escaped. Right, for that, I made these, which are not really folding. They're not really pockets, they're more pouches. But what I like about them is I just put a little Velcro dot there, and it seals closed. Nothing's going to fall out. And then when it comes to putting it into a journal, you could put it on the side here with a paper clip. You could even glue it down. It wouldn't be a floating pocket then, but you could glue it down if you want to do. But a paper clip, or actually just kind of floating around, because if it's sealed, you know, nothing's going to fall out. So that's the idea for these. Now, what I did was I actually used serviettes, paper serviettes, or napkins to make them. My swap partner sent me that beautiful napkin, that one, and this one. I don't know if it's going to be in focus. Am I focused? Am I not focused? I don't know. So there's the bold numbers stamped on the inside. These are super easy to make using canvas paper and a napkin. And I use matte medium. I don't really, you know, it leaves a nice sort of surface area. It's so cute with the flamingos. And then I just did a double straight stitch around the edges. And as I say, you can just put a little Velcro dot there. They work so well. I mean, that can really go into most journals, you know, like this one of the flowers. So pretty. I really love this as well. It's got like little gold bits. And then obviously you can, once I decide what journal to put this into, I can just decorate it further, or just, I tend to leave things quite plain. You could add some sort of decoration to the front or the back. It's got a beautiful kind of fake leathery feel, you know. You can see it's like fabric. It's like very durable. They don't break, and they're so easy to make. And this is a serviette I had left over from a Japanese journal. For the numbers. And this one I had after making a sea journal. Okay, so that was day 2, floating pocket and bold numbers. Right, so, oh yeah, and the lemon one. Lemon one's very cool. I like the little wrinkly parts as well. Some people like to get them out and have them smooth, but I think it added texture just really gives it something. Okay, so then on Wednesday we had a day off. Then Thursday was Throwback Thursday to 2021. A postcard with hand or machine sewing. Okay, so for that, what I did were these. Okay, let me lay them out so you can see them. Try and just make sure this is kind of in view. Wow. I don't know if I'm too hard to look. I'm actually looking at the phone to see if it's okay. I think you can more or less see those. So these even look very similar, no? What I did here was take tiny little scraps of jelly printed fabric that I had. I made 2 masterboards with collage with the fabric. Just stuck it down with, like, you know, glue stick. Then I used 2 sheets of jelly print of tissue paper, with the wet strand tissue paper that I just drawn on with an acrylic pen, layered those over with some matte medium, and then stitched. So it's actually really thick. And then at the back I just stamped it with a postcard stamp. So it really, really, you know what I mean? It's actually heavier than a postcard. kind of a collage, and I think it came out really well. I really like the background detail, little bits of fabric, because I never really know what to do with those tiny little bits that are left over. And then the black, this was left over from a book cover, the red and the black and the gold. So postcard stamp at the back, very cool. Lots of fun making those. Okay, then the 5th of December we did journaling card and tiny letters. So for that I made these. Again, I made 2 master boards. Oh, actually, yeah, the second one didn't work out very well. I didn't like the results. So let's just say I made 1 master board that actually worked with, oh, can you see those? I took a tiny little dictionary. Actually, hold on, let me get the dictionary. I'll show you. This is a tiny little dictionary that I bought, I think in the year 1999 when I first came. Here, it's Spanish English. I mean, it's so tiny. I really can't read this without my glasses at the best of times. So it was absolutely perfect. I just pulled out some pages and just did some jelly printing over them for the color. Some blue, some pink, different ones. Made a master board, just putting those all together. And then took some old leftover jelly prints and cut out some shapes. In this case, these sort of oval thingies. And layered that on. And again, just using matte medium, which glues, seals, does the whole thing. And then what I think is really important, so I mentioned this is 1 A4 piece of paper. Well, it wasn't really, it's like a card-like thing. And then instead of cutting them while I was looking at them, I took the A4, put it on my cutting board and just cut. And then discovered what came out on the other side. Because I found if you look before you cut, you tend to cut in safe places. You know, you tend to cut in places you think are going to look the best. But what's surprising is when you do it without looking, you get incredible results. You know, much more fun things than if you were looking what you were doing, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that was day 5. So thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate it. My idea is, if you see anything here that you like or you want a tutorial on, just let me know in the comments below, and when I've got some time I'll make a tutorial. I'll see you next Sunday for next week's things, which are snippets and grandma's buttons, altered envelope and coffee mug stains, leaves and envelope and L, bookmark and clear packaging. So thanks again, and hopefully I'll see you then. Bye.